such a long, long time. They've got every other honour in the game. Now they've got the Champions League. They've completed the set. Rodri's goal. Those who've suffered, those who watched York away, Bury, Stockport and all those teams, can you believe what you're witnessing? City have crossed the line on the biggest stage of them all. Only one team had done it before from England. Now there are two. This unbelievable team. They've been called the best in Europe for about a decade. At last, they've got the pot to prove it. Andy Morrison, the players flop to the floor. Sum up the achievement.
They're absolutely exhausted. They're on their knees. But every one of them has carried this club for the last 3 or 4 months. Performances, they've gone to the well on so many occasions, and tonight it wasn't brilliant. It was about winning the game, and the determination, the heart, everything that was needed to get over the line, they did. And them last 3 or 4 minutes were something I've never ever experienced. Absolutely phenomenal performance and achievement.
Well, I was at Wembley back in '99. Andy was there as captain of City. It was the lowest point in the club's history. It came in the week in which Manchester United won a treble. Well, guess what, City fans? City have now done exactly what United did 24 years ago, and we're watching the trophy being engraved. The N's going on. The C, the H, the E, the S, the T, the E and the R. But next to it, for the very first time in history, goes the name C-I-T-Y. City are the champions of Europe, the treble winners, the absolute best team in Europe, and at last they have the trophy to prove it. Rodri's goal in the 68th minute. What a night. Well, let's go back and see what the reaction's like around the world. Over to you, Steve. Akanji in the gap, good ball, Bernardo Silva round the back, no, nobody there, Rodri, 1-0! Rodri! It's Rodri! City 1, Inter 0, the Blues are in dreamland!
And City join the elite! History makers, treble winners, Premier League, FA Cup, and now the Champions League. 2020. Gareth got the champers out already. She promised us she wouldn't go our way. Outrageous celebrations. I can't even read any notes anymore. Unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. We were sat here and got to the very end. And Karen, you said, I've been talking about this forever. It's finally happened.
It has, and I'm covered in champagne. No, I mean, oh my gosh, like for the entirety of like the second half of the season, everyone was like, can he do it? Can the treble happen? And we had to just tick things off one by one, didn't we? Premier League, FA Cup, and now this. And it wasn't the performance that we're used to seeing, obviously, from the likes of City, but you know, like any big player has to step out on the big stage, and Rodri did it tonight. And it was, I feel so relieved. I don't know about you
Fabulous.
guys.
Absolutely fabulous. I mean, I'm not an emotional person, but I'm actually, at the end...
You were jittery in the studio, right? I was
very emotional. I am. This is, I know I've got champagne nose, but
is that champagne coming out your eyes?
It's tears. It's
tears in my eyes. I'm absolutely delighted for them. I must say, by the way, as a player, you kind of caught up, you're just focused on what you're doing. I'm so pleased. I'm just kind of a fan over the last few years since I've retired, because that is just pure torture. I mean, it's magnificent, but it's awful. It's just so, you know, I'm kind of up, I'm down, I'm shouting at the TV. I mean, it's just as well those other people are here, because I'm honestly, I'm telling you now, the language that I would have used would have been horrendously bad, but that was just so good.
They put us through the mill in the first half, and then it gets to Rodri's goal. And then it is pure pain after that point, isn't it?
Oh, it was agony.
Until
That
the
last minute.
whistle.
That last minute with the header from Lukaku. Oh my goodness.
Should he have scored?
Absolutely.
Or was it just...
No, absolutely. It was completely wide open.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think Ali said it on comms. Like, I'll be honest, Edison didn't really look like he knew much about that, did he?
No.
But
his shins were in the right place.
It's all about positioning, isn't it? Yeah. No, but wow. Yeah, that was painful, but there was a moment of elation as well, obviously.
Let's talk Rodri's goal.
Yeah.
So it actually stemmed from an amazing Akanji pass, didn't it?
Yeah, it was. He's done very well. I mean, as I said, we were talking, I think, when Akanji's had a shot and has bitten Russian blood to the head because the manager's wanting him to just play little balls because switching off. And this is exactly what the manager was talking about. He could have had a shot, but he just gets his head up. He plays that lovely little slide rule pass to Bernardo Silva. It just takes a little touch of a defender to pop out for Rodri at the edge of the box. He could have had a rush of blood to the head and tried to blast it, but he doesn't. He just side foots it in. Goalkeeper's got no chance because it's covered by two players. Just side foots it with pace, bends it in. Absolutely brilliant finish. Brilliant.
No
finish.
one pre this match was saying Rodri's winning the Champions League for Manchester City. A beautiful strike.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Steve just mentioned it. Like the way he shapes the ball around the defenders leaves Onana with no chance, like, to actually see the flight of the ball, you know. But it's those details. I mean, we saw it earlier in the Champions League campaign with Bernardo Silva's beautiful guided header earlier. Was that Real Madrid? No, it wasn't Real Madrid. Who was that?
Would have been Bayern.
Was it Bayern? Yeah. And you know, like, so the precision and the detail required and the awareness to understand, you know, how to, you know, wrong foot the goalkeeper to kind of shape it around the defenders. Like, that is so hard to do. So yeah, massive amounts of skill there.
And then 2 minutes later, we've got our head in our hands as DiMarco hits the crossbar.
Oh my goodness.
With a header. It comes back and then he has a clean header which hits his own teammate Lukaku.
Yeah, I mean, initially we're thinking he's offside, but he's not. When we look at the replays, again, he tries to deliberately just dink it over Edison. Nearly gets it absolutely perfect when it comes out. He's obviously tried to head it again. Unfortunately, hits his own teammate. I think Diaz might have done something about it. I'm going to sort of say yes, he would have. But wow, what a let-off.
So much more to come from these guys. But let's get a taste of the atmosphere at Mayfield, where it's going wild with Steve.
Mayfield Depot is absolutely electric. Manchester City have just won the treble. And you better believe that is the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. Look at this atmosphere. Look at this reception. I cannot believe what I've just witnessed. I am covered in absolutely everything. And I can't believe, as a City fan, look at all these people. I am stood here watching Manchester City win a treble. It has absolutely gone off here. It's absolutely been immense. And this atmosphere, this team, this wonderful, incredible, passionate, brilliant team. Come on, everyone. Come on, everyone. Say, best team in the whole world. The best. And do you know what? We've always sang that we're the best team in the land of the world. And now, I think we actually know it. We can prove it. Look what we've done. Look what we've done. We have created history. We have smashed down expectations. A Premier League, an FA Cup, a treble, the Champions League. This is our time, and we have just absolutely smashed it. Come on, City. Come on, City. How you feeling, man? How you feeling?
I'm fucking buzzing, mate.
Well, we'll have to cut that bit. But this Manchester City side, man, they've done things that no other team has done, in my opinion. The wonderful Manchester City side. I'm falling off the stage. I tell you what, you look out in that crowd and there's got to be some memories formed and some sore heads tomorrow. I tell you what, Edison has absolutely reeled himself into folklore. Big saves, time and time again. And then you look at that back line, all warriors to an absolute man. Diaz with huge blocks, Akanji, Ake, Walker, Stones, you know the song and you're singing it right now. And then Rodri. Oh, Rodri, I love you, mate. I absolutely love you. Rodri, an absolute god of a man. Listen to this. Just listen to it. City.
This team, it does things differently, and I absolutely love it. You tell everyone here that they don't care, they do. People can pretend that it doesn't matter, but they know it. Look at this, look at this. Stepping up, and I tell you what, me and the producer were chatting about Phil Foden before this. 5 Premier League titles, how many League Cups, an FA Cup, and now a Champions League. Maybe he should have gone out on loan, hey? Absolutely not, absolutely not. Oh, I can't believe what we're witnessing. We are witnessing history. That's what we're witnessing. We are witnessing greatness here, absolute greatness. Here in Manchester, over 6,000 Manchester City fans are all best mates tonight, and it's wonderful. I am drenched in beer, who knows what else, but it doesn't matter, it absolutely doesn't. Guys, this has been incredible. The party is just getting started. Back to you, have a wonderful night.
I want to be there with Steve and his giant bananas. It looks the place to be. Absolutely superb. Calm down, Steve, although I don't think he will for quite a while. Right, let's get to Istanbul and get to Nat in Istanbul at the Ataturk Stadium.
Go. Go.
Manchester City are champions of Europe! And of course, treble winners! Shawnee, how are you feeling?
I'm so fucking happy. It's been emotional and a long time coming. So I have to pass it over to MG now. I need to hear what you say.
I am exhausted, but I am buzzing!
Steph, pass the mic down, everyone. Tell us how you're feeling.
Oh, wow. Unbelievable. The boys were amazing.
I can't believe my eyes. I'm lost for words, sorry.
I've lost words and I've lost my voice. Credit to all those players. This is what they deserve. They've been the best team in Europe for years, and finally they've done it. Treble winners. This will go down in history, and we're going to talk about this for the rest of our lives.
Yeah! Let's go! Also, they said that we'd never do it, and we did it better.
The atmosphere in the stadium is obviously absolutely electric wherever you're watching around the world. We hope you celebrated like you have never celebrated, and you now have a weekend, a summer, years, a lifetime of celebrating.
It's party time.
Hey, ole, ole, champion is ole, ole.
Shawnee's actually gone. Slips from the mouth. Apologies for that. But high emotions. Don't you just want to be there now? Don't you?
I think this is all right.
Riley's got the right idea though with the mic drop. He's off. Yeah. He's off.
So long in the waiting that when it finally gets...
It's so surreal, right?
You're joining Manchester United. You're joining Liverpool from 1984. You know, these are the very elite teams. This team now will go down... It's confirmed itself as one of the greatest ever.
Yeah, it's great to finally have some like legitimacy, you know what I mean? Because everyone's been saying, oh, you've not done it, you've been so close. And it's been that kind of elusive thing that's been hanging over our heads. But now, like, no one can take that away from us. So it feels pretty good, like, to be kind of, you know, we've joined that club.
Yeah,
it's amazing.
I mean, there's no denying it now. There probably wasn't any before. We had the conversation pre-match about people questioning Pep, didn't we? But actually, the team itself plays football of a level that we haven't seen for an awful long time.
Yeah, I mean, it's the best team I've seen play in the Premier League consistently since the Premier League's been in its entirety. You know, and I've played in a good team. Played against some wonderful teams, but this team is the best. And for me, I think, you know, when you've got a team that plays a brand of football like City do, you want them to win. And I mean, listen, the Man United fans will not. But I think any pure fan, and I know they're obviously sort of Arsenal fans and Tottenham fans and this fan and that fan, but I think if you're a fan of football, you want teams that play great football to win games, to play football the right way. And this is the perfect team for me. I want to say as well, I thought Milan were excellent in the second half. You know, they came out, they were attacking, they caused the lads problems. They were absolutely brilliant. I think that'll be a few fans tomorrow getting up tomorrow for work for whatever they've got to do. But it ended up being a fantastic second half.
Didn't Inter make it uncomfortable for Man?
Massively uncomfortable for me, massively uncomfortable for everybody here. God knows what Nat was like over there, by the way, because she does lose the plot a little bit. But it's all worth it, though, isn't it? Because I can't wait to see the scenes of the lifting the trophy. I'm so happy for Pep, because that was something that was thrown at him as well. You know, he's got that monkey off his back, if you want. But for me, I don't think he needed it, because for me, he was a top world-class manager that goes down in history. I'm just delighted for him. I'm delighted for the staff, and of course the lads and the fans.
I just wish we'd seen the whole Pep cam alongside the actual game, because
at one point he was on all fours, wasn't he?
It was ridiculous, wasn't it? We had the bit where he was calmed down, he was on his knees. I think he was as much entertainment in his own way, wasn't it? I mean, the emotions that man goes through.
No, I mean, and again, I think we spoke about this in the pre-match as well. You know, the amount of attention that goes into the detail, the preparation. You know, the blood, sweat, and tears, literally, it's so cliche, but like the love that he has for trying to just, you know, solve the problems, be the leader for the team, like the obsessiveness that he has around just trying to put together, you know, a comprehensive performance from the kickoff to the final whistle every single game, you know, trying to dominate teams. It's exhausting. And, you know, it's a credit to this club that he's been here for as long as he has. You know, I think when obviously he went on, you know, a bit of a sabbatical in New York, like after he left Bayern, I believe, and, you know, like to come back refreshed and join a club like City and keep pushing. It's got to be exhausting, and this just must be. I feel relieved for him. I feel relieved for everyone in the club, but like
it's vindication, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely.
You know, it's probably come later than he would have expected.
Yeah, I think he kind of semi-blames himself for the first one, for the one against Chelsea, with maybe the team selection.
Yeah.
And obviously that was a question aimed at him. I'm not sure if it was Bayern Munich game or the Real Madrid game, about are you going to be kind of tinkering, if you want, for want of a better word. As I said, just let the lads play. They're good enough. You trust these players, implicitly trust these players. They trust each other. I mean, it's just, I'm kind of still a little bit numb with it. I know they've won, but you know, without seeing it and watching it, it hasn't really quite sunk in yet. But I know it's going to be fantastic when I look at me apps and all this kind of stuff that's coming through and stuff that's on social media.
Well, there's a bit of a grittiness as well about the way they did it. They kind of ground it out, you know, and it was something that we necessarily hadn't seen over the course of this season, you know, to like really have to dig deep and kind of pull something out.
Doing it in an entirely different manner
than
anyone would have expected.
And, you know, like we saw that kind of evolution over the course of the season where, you know, we'd have to try and play you know, a bit more direct perhaps than we want to, because other teams would pose different questions and we'd have to solve those problems. And tonight, yeah, it's your point, Steve. Like, Inter were excellent in how they executed their game plan, and they made it incredibly difficult. So, but yeah, we still got over the line.
Right, let's see if Steve's got his head together. Oh, no, probably hasn't, but let's go back to Mayfield. Steve.
We are back here at Mayfield Depot. Did that just actually happen? Did that really happen? I've got goosebumps etched into my skin. They're there permanently now. I'm with my good mate Dave. Dave, how are you feeling, man? What? Just sum that up. Can you sum that up?
Just this team, front to back, just incredible. I don't want anyone telling us that was easy. I don't want anyone.
Oh, that wasn't easy.
No jeopardy. We chased Arsenal down. We played our biggest rivals in the final, and that
was ours.
Tell my heart there was no jeopardy in that. That's Jesus.
I tell you what, I think I've got a load of new greys, mate. That stressed me out.
Unbelievable.
And me and you, Dave, we're about the same age, so we've been there. We've seen those struggles, haven't we? What does it mean when you think where we've come from?
I don't think anyone has had this roller coaster of going so far down and so far up. You just can't. No one else is ever going to experience that. Just from growing up, just it being shit. That's the norm. That's fine.
And that's the thing,
at this point now, it's just incredible.
And that's the thing, isn't it? Because you know everyone talks about winning trophies, but where we come from, United, Arsenal, Liverpool, they've not been down there, you know. And to me, that makes it better, doesn't it?
Yeah, like the worst thing that could happen is like a season of like finishing 4th or 5th. That's boring. But going all the way down, that's like the camaraderie down there. We know all about that. So the camaraderie up here
Look at this atmosphere, mate. Look at this atmosphere. To think, I mean, Istanbul's rocking, but this is pretty special as well, isn't it?
I'm so glad I'm here. The whole thing's amazing. Just unbelievable. It's like one big away day. Just amazing.
It's incredible. So we've got our own fan zone here in Manchester, Mayfield Depot. It's absolutely going off, and this is going to go off all night now, isn't it? This is going to be a long night.
I think so. Manchester better be ready for this now.
So we've got to talk about Rodri for a second. What can this man not do? He can do everything, can't he? Rodri, talk to me about Rodri for a second.
Should have played him in the last one.
It doesn't matter.
No, like, I can't believe he doesn't get in teams of the year. Like, he's absolute linchpin. Without him, none of it happens. But all of them. Edison, the amount of stick Edison's got today, and then that again. Unbelievable.
It's almost like he's a world-class keeper, and we've got world-class players. And KDB is about to lift a Champions League trophy. How nice is that?
I love that they've done that for Kevin as well, because he must be absolutely gutted that he went off, but he now gets to join in that. It could have been horrible for him, and it's amazing.
Is this the best Manchester City side ever, Dave? It is, isn't it? It is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
And we're going to keep it celebrating all night, man. Talk to me as well. Talk to me about that defence. Who was the linchpin of that defence? Was it Ruben Diaz? Was it Kanji? Was it Ake?
They're just a unit. They know exactly where everyone else is on the pitch. And to be fair, Inter, so well set up. Inter made it really, really hard. But our team, they don't look like they're as structured as the teams like Inter. You can see everyone knows their position because they go back to it and reset every time. Our players, they all know exactly where they're supposed to be. They just do it in an attacking way. It's brilliant, brilliant.
Dave, I absolutely love you, man. We're going to rack up and get a beer, man. We're going to get a beer. This guy's got a beer already. I need one. Back to you guys. We're going to have a party because we won the treble. Come on!
Steve's going to have a lot of hugs tonight. There was quite a few hugs in this studio as well. In fact, if you get a taxi for these two, they want to get down there, get on stage right at the moment and get in the middle of it all. We haven't spoken about Kevin De Bruyne, but it was quite rightly brought up there down at Mayfield. So he's going to lift the trophy. We said heartache, didn't we, at half-time? And it was effectively. How will he feel?
Oh, he'll be gutted that, he had to come off and couldn't play more of a part in that game. But I think ultimately he's a part of an incredible team. He's had an amazing season for City. He had a huge impact on the journey and the run-in to this particular game as well. But yeah, obviously devastated. Like, he's a top-class player, competitive, really, really competitive guy. But by all means, I think he did the right thing for the team.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, they don't become champions of Europe without Kevin De Bruyne, do they?
No, they don't. Absolutely not. And sometimes things happen for a reason. What's to say if he stayed on? Things might have worked out a bit differently. You just don't know. But I think for the player himself, every player, we've all missed big games that you don't want to play, or games that you know for a fact you've got an injury and you're thinking, well, I want to risk it because I've got a big game, but not very long into the game, you've got to come off, and it's devastating. And even though the team win, you're absolutely delighted, but there's that personal bit inside you, you're gutted. But at the same time, I think it might slightly wear off when he picks it up with Ilkay Gundogan and celebrates with the boys tonight, because if anybody deserves being a part of that, it's him, because he's been absolutely superb this season.
Hasn't he just? I'm sure the celebrations, I'm sure he'll get engulfed in the whole thing, and that'll be a reflection thing a little bit later on. I mean, Kyle Walker might say the same thing about not starting the game.
Yeah, but again, I think they're all team players. They all understand the role and the impact that they need to make when they do come on or come off or whatever that is. And it's not about the individual, it's about the collective, and I think that is ingrained in this team. The biggest goal was to get over the line and win the game, and they did that. And each one of them can, be happy that they've played a part in, the club's history, you know what I mean? So I think bigger picture, lift the trophy, have an amazing night. You've been a part of history, happy days.
Yeah, and that night, how it sort of plays out. You hear a lot of people who've won the Champions League, and they say it's all a blur because...
Yeah.
Whether it's the adrenaline rush, whether they just keep going and they can't quite piece it all together.
It's the bit afterwards, when you win a game, right? And you just.
It's so hard to.
Well, no, you're just on cloud nine for hours, aren't you? Afterwards,
yeah.
And you're just we've just won that, especially if it's a trophy as well, and then especially one of this caliber. I'm not being funny. They're not going to look back and go, "Oh, I wish I would have done that," or "I wish I'd done that." the job is done. You know, they will lift the trophy and they will enjoy the fruits of their labour. Trust me.
They'll wake up tomorrow morning and just think, wow, you know, I'm a champion of Europe, but I can't really remember a great deal. And that's the game as well. I'm not talking about tonight. But
so
the
fast,
game, it's
isn't
just
it?
like, as I said at half-time, they'll be sitting in the dressing room and they've basically been thinking, there's the build-up of this game, and it's all that nervous energy, all the thinking, what if this happens, what if that happens, hopefully I could do this. And all of a sudden they're sitting in the dressing room at half-time, they've gone, where's that half gone? And tomorrow they'll be like, well, it's over, it's done. I can't remember a great deal, I can remember maybe little bits and pieces, but not a lot. But they particularly won't remember a great deal from now anyway, because deservedly so will be on the drink.
They might not go to sleep. They might not have to wake up. And they've also got the celebration back home, haven't they?
Yeah.
When the Lionesses won the Euros last summer, right? So obviously at home, they basically had all the friends and family around the hotel, did not go to bed. So, and then they went straight to the send-off party the next day. So it'll be just chaos, and absolutely deservedly so tonight for these
Dark
guys.
glasses could be worn.
And that moment where they actually get to sort of share the homecoming with the fans, you know, all the people who weren't lucky enough to go out there but have been avid supporters, that's almost as big, isn't it? In a way, in terms of the memory bank further down the line?
Yeah, I think, you know, when you do that as well, I think that is a case of trying to soak it all in. But again, it's difficult because there's alcohol involved. But these are things which you have to try, or at least now there's like, obviously you've got your mobile phone so you can record stuff because you'll want to look back on that. Because not very often does that happen in most football's career. You know, if you're lucky enough to become a footballer, you've done brilliant. But to win what they've won, you know, basically, as I said, it's history.
The craziest thing, though, I don't know about you, Steve, is like when you win something, though, there's only a small amount of people that you can share that with that have been through it at the same time. So you can't really, like, other people can't relate. Do you know what I mean? Because they weren't privy to what happened or what will happen over the course of the evening. So when you get back together 5-10 years down the line or 2 weeks down the line, you'll start to reminisce, like, oh yeah, do you remember that? Do you remember that? Do you remember that? But you couldn't go and, you know, like, tell your folks that or tell your friends that because they're kind of like not in it. Do you know what I mean? So it's something that they'll only be able to like share with a very small group of
applies to a very unique bunch.
Yeah.
And you make a great point about sort of 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line.
Oh, that's a bond for life.
Isn't it?
That's a bond for life, 100%. I mean, I've got lads here that when I played here, they'll, you know, I've still got the numbers, we keep in contact. Same with the other lads when I played at other clubs. You know, when you've achieved that and you know what it takes to achieve that, that is absolutely, you know, friends for life, 100%.
Wow. This city.
This city. This team. This time. This time it was different to anything we had seen before. This time we stood strong. This time we stayed calm. This time there were heroes. This time we did what so many thought would be impossible. This time we have done the treble. This time, Manchester City are champions of Europe.
The Blues are in dreamland!
I love that. And hopefully you were watching pre-match where we had a similar sort of theme on that, but it was all sort of aimed at hoping that it all came off. So finally makes sense as a whole, doesn't it? Look, there's loads of other players we can mention. They're all heroes now, but I want to just pick out a couple. There was a moment that Phil Foden produced where literally he could have been player of the match if he'd scored. The most ridiculous turn and run.
Yeah, that turn was beautiful. Just to have the skill and the awareness to make it stick, but understand, you know, how to just make the opposition look like traffic cones, and then the progression into the box as well. It's just a shame that the end product wasn't quite there. It was a pretty easy telegraph save for Onana to make, but yeah, what a player he is.
Oh, he is. I mean, to have that kind of Kevin De Bruyne goes off, to bring him on, I mean, I think that's at half-time. You're bringing on a player that he'll probably get in any other team in Europe. You know, so it's not a bad player to have on. As I said, he does that turn. I was thinking he was going to give the goalkeeper the eyes, kind of Bernardo Silva against Courtois. One when he's looked and just whipped it across him. So I thought he was going to go near post. I think the camera went on Pep as well, didn't it? And he was like, oh, Phil, because it would have been an absolute just, oh, Phil. Because it would have been a piece of absolute brilliance. I mean, it was, but just didn't get the desired effect. But, I mean, what a player. I mean, how much stuff has he won? How old is he? What, 21, 22? And he's won
How
so
much has
much
he got
stuff.
to come as well?
Wow.
It's amazing. And just someone else I want to pick out, because I thought he was astounding. He probably won't get the headlines, but John Stones, I mean, was he everywhere on the pitch?
He was. I think at one point in the first half, like, he was really. There were 1 or 2 times that he was the only one that looked like he was trying to find the space. You know, he was coming in off the right, coming in off the left, like just picking up those half spaces in between when Kevin De Bruyne came off, and in between Silva as well. And yeah, he was very, very good tonight. And it's been like a renaissance for him, I think, this season as well. Like, there was a moment in time, obviously, I think it was was it before the World Cup, where he came off with a hamstring problem, I think, and wasn't available, and there was a bit of a struggle about how to replace him. But, you know, the impact that he made, you know, in the second half of the season, just coming inside, being, you know, in and around the area in the attacking third as well. You know, like, I don't know, he had a fantastic season for me, and it's definitely up there in terms of the impact of you know, that he's had on the course of this treble. But, you know, for me, I think Ruben Dias is also outstanding tonight as well. Solid when he needed to be. You know, when things were a bit shaky, he was kind of that foundational block in the back as well. I don't know about you, Steve.
He was there when needed. Right, I think we can savour the moment that only a few players ever get to achieve and feel in their lifetime. Let's go to the trophy lift.
He gets hold of the trophy from Alexander Cheffery. City's 12th UEFA Champions League campaign. They become the 23rd side to win the European Cup, the first since Chelsea in 2012. He walks over just a short distance up to join his fellow teammates. He goes in the middle of them. Countdown, 3, 2, 1. İlkay Gundogan, you are the captain of the Champions League winners of 2023. The treble winners, invincible, irrepressible, unstoppable. They didn't lose a single game. They've won the Champions League in style. Rodri's goal, yes, but there were so many contributions throughout this incredible journey. A journey which you must never forget began all the way back in 1999 when the likes of my co-commentator Andy Morrison got City over the line against Gillingham, when it seemed the club might go into oblivion. That was the year that the last team won the treble. How fitting that 24 years on, the Blues have now completed the most improbable of journey. It's an amazing football story. It's one which we must never ever forget. Our roots, our heritage, those dark days that was just the darkest that any of us could imagine. All those memories can be consigned to history, because today is a day when everyone around the world, not just in Europe, know that this is the best team perhaps we have ever seen. That they beat Manchester United to win the FA Cup somehow has a bit of symmetry to it. That they overcame all the obstacles, including Real Madrid, who knocked them out in desperate circumstances round about 12 months ago. Painful memories like that, painful memories like the final 2 years ago. You get stronger off the back of them. There are tears flowing down the cheeks of Pep Guardiola. He's hugging Kevin De Bruyne, who himself was so upset when he had to trudge off with injury. But now we're witnessing something that, well, we just perhaps deep down thought we might never witness.
Magnificent.
But my goodness.
Unbelievable.
And Andy Morrison's just getting a hug from my producer, Graham, behind me. And, well, it's moments like this that I have to say I never thought I'd witness. I'll be honest with you, Andy. When that second Gillingham goal went in, I have to say, I thought this is about as low as we could possibly ever get. That's why I'm pleased that you're alongside me today.
And listen, I can see, I saw your tears in your eyes afterwards, and they weren't just in your eyes, they were flowing down your cheeks. And I just see what it means to so many people, Ali. You know, my kids now are Manchester City fans. They've grown up following this club. I've got so many friends. I've built friendships over the last 25 years connected with this football club. And I just know in my heart now what will be the position they're in. Their faces, just their emotions, everything, you know, and it's such a journey, and they've come so far, and, you know, this is just, even if it wasn't the treble, the Champions League, but on top of winning the Premier League and the FA Cup, I mean, what a football club.
Well, Pep Guardiola...
Just amazing, and that's what football can do, isn't it? The emotion of it. I think we could hear even before Andy said about Ali there that he was crying. Just the way sport can impact on you?
Yeah, just watching those scenes as well, like generations of people that are related to the players, obviously kids and, you know, spouses and partners and stuff like that. But for me, like how much it means to a guy like Rodri and the humility and how humble a lot of the players are, you know, it's incredible to see how much it means to them. And yeah, and how much it means to the community and how much it means to lifelong City supporters as well. It's like, it makes you well up. It's amazing.
That trophy lift's brilliant, isn't it? And that's one of the better things in the way the European Cup's developed. If you think back 20 years when the captain just went up and lifted it on his own, if it feels more like a communal team thing now, doesn't it? Obviously, the captain walks over, there's Ilkay Gundogan into the middle of them all, Pep's on the right-hand side, and that's the money shot.
Yeah, I mean, because it's a team effort, it's a team game. But it's not just that squad of players, it's everybody behind them as well. So that's why it was great to see the whole staff.
There was a lot of them.
There's a shed load of them, to be quite honest. But every one of them has a job, and every one of them plays their part, so they should be a part of that. But watching that, and then just watching the pictures of Pep, he looks just so happy but exhausted. You know, just you can imagine.
As relieved as you've ever seen him, do you think, Steve?
I would say everything's in there. Every single emotion you can think of, he's there. I mean, tonight I'm pretty sure he'd be having a glass of red wine, he'd be having his cigar, and it would just be like, oof, just a massive, you know, exhale. I've done it, because we all know, football people know he didn't have to do that, but he would be putting pressure on himself as the ultimate kind of perfectionist. He wants to do it, and he wants to do it the right way. And now that he has, I mean, as a manager, he's pretty untouchable.
Right, I think they're still singing the same song at Mayfield, so let's get back there again with Steve.
It is going off in here. The greatest team in all the land and all the world. Manchester City have won the Premier League, the FA Cup, the Champions League, this treble. And look what it means to these fans back here. They are absolutely electric. They know, we know, and you know that we are witnessing history in the making. This Manchester City side, we don't always do it the easy way, but we are never being, and we fight till the end. 93-20, Aston Villa united in the FA Cup final, and now the Champions League final. It just keeps getting better and better and better. And watch it, drinking in, as someone once said. I tell you what, I bet there's love bites and everything back there too, and all those lines. This City side, the beginning of a wonderful era, and these fans behind me know it, and you know it too. This City side are special. Pep Guardiola is special. Akanji, Aki, Rodri, Diaz, Stones, Walker, Edison, Foden, De Bruyne, Gundogan, the lot of them. I love you all, lads. I love you all, and I love this team. And tell you what, some people would say that City fans are getting bored of all this. We are not getting bored of it, and we are going nowhere, because this team, they are champions. Ooh. You can hear that, and every single word of it is true. We are the Champions League winners, and look what it means to these fans out here. Goosebumps permanently. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and they'll still be there. You dream about days like this, and I tell you what, when I was a kid, we weren't so good. We weren't, and I heard it from every single United fan about how great they were, and we were down there, but now look at us. And I guess what? It's even better. It's absolutely better, because we beat them on the way to it as well, and that makes it that much sweeter. I love this club. And so do these people here. This is something special. Look at this, look at these scenes. This is what football's all about. This is what football's all about. Look at...
Come on, City!
Exactly. Oh, Kevin De Bruyne, a Champions League winner. Ilkay Gundogan, a Champions League winner. These are the things that you dreamed of when you watch football. Nights like this, occasions like this. This Manchester City side, they never know when they're being, do they? They never know when they're being. Today, into a good. They were tough, they were defensive, they were pragmatic, but City were better. They were stronger, and this is our time. This time it is different. This time we are the champions, and this time there's gonna be a parade on Monday. Manchester is gonna be a swathe of blue absolutely everywhere. We're gonna take over that town because it's ours, and it's gonna be wonderful. And I can't wait to see the celebrations, and I can't wait to see some of you guys there. It's gonna be wonderful. Back to you guys, over and out.
Guys, I don't think you'll be able to drag him home tonight. Look, just to wrap it up, how are you feeling now?
Delusional, I think.
Oh, just so pleased. I mean, as I said, as a player, you tend to just kind of your own little bubble. But as a fan and watching that, it was pretty tough to watch, especially the last bits and the goalkeeper and stuff like that. But so pleased for them. You know, there has been that criticism all the time, and nobody can say anything now.
Well, I hope you enjoyed the coverage tonight. Thanks to all the team here. Thanks to Steve, to FG, to Nedham, to Nat, Sean Wright, Philip, Steph, Karen and Steve, of course, for their brilliant company tonight. Thanks most of all to Pep Guardiola and to his Manchester City team. They have reached football utopia. Goodbye. Treble winners.